Hello, welcome to this video by Wisdom Mitra. In this video, we would be discussing about artificial intelligence from the perspective of general competitive exams, general awareness, etc. This might be an important topic for you when you are being interviewed, when things are asked in the mains about how and what of the new age economy, for example. Right? Let us go into it. First thing first, how is the face of jobs changing? So, for example, a recent news that I have picked up, what is happening is that, uh, you know, in case of arbitration, etc., previously summarizing arbitration, summarizing a challenge, it needed months and months of effort. But as of now, if you see that amount of time, which used to previously take a month, it's now currently taking 10 minutes or so. So that is the difference that AI is making in terms of the normal or straightforward repetitive tasks. So that is one important point that we need to understand. Similarly, there are multiple other jobs that are being impacted. For example, customer care discussions or chats that previously used to be done by humans will now be done by AI because it is much more intelligent. It is understanding things much more easily and it is answering quite a few queries. So the number of people who would be needed for customer service might reduce. Similarly, the coding. Previously, you needed expert coders for coding a particular program, project, product. But now, a lot of that coding, the low end of the coding, is being handled by AI. So that is one big challenge that people need to understand, that the face of jobs is changing. So that is something that is becoming important in context of governance, in context of distribution of wealth, etc. So we need to understand that predominantly from the point of view of ethics, economics, so on and so forth. Let us try and understand what is the uh, you know AI in terms of how does it stores and holds data. So quickly explaining, say you have a three-dimensional space, right? And in this particular space, you have a dot. How do you define this dot? Say this particular dot is representing a customer of a particular company. So x-axis defines age bracket, for example, right? And y-axis defines something else, maybe location, and z-axis defines their, say, sports preparation, etc. Sports preference, for example, right? Now, if someone says, "Can you define the gender of this person?" It's three-dimensional space. How do I define one more? So, if I want to define two persons who have same preference of sports, stay in same location, and they are in the same age group but belong to two different genders, how do I do that in the three-dimensional space? Probably I will create a new color here, right? So this is a boy who prefers, say, cricket, and this is a girl who prefers cricket, for example, right? I want to add one more. I will say shape. So probably I want to define, say, whether it's a batsman or a bowler by using shape. So if it's a batsman, it's a circle. If it's a bowler, it's a square. Similarly, I say one more. So like I can define the uh, dimensions of a person. Say as of now, say I have told four, maybe fifth, maybe sixth, maybe seventh. So humans understand only three-dimensional space, and they can say add a few more dimensions, say in terms of color, in terms of, say, shape, in terms of texture, say in terms of smell, for example. But imagine a artificial intelligence machine. It takes almost 300 coordinates, 400 coordinates, and that's how it starts remembering things. So for example, here I took one example of cat being represented by such a vector, right? This numbers, it says cat AI uses 300 numbers to have or describe cat, basically, right? Similarly, if it's a dog, it would have most of these numbers same, maybe one or two, because it belongs to dog family, and though it's an animal, it's furry animal, it's a domesticated animal, etc. Similarly, if I say kitten, it would be much more closer to cat compared to dog in terms of these numbers that are being defined. So that's the way AI remembers the words, and once it does that, it starts using those words and connecting it to one another, and it differentiates also. So, for example, the word bank, it might mean a financial bank vis-a-vis a bank of a river, and in both the cases the number of digits or those coordinates that I just showed you, they would be different. Similarly, say I picked up a magazine vis-a-vis I work for a magazine, those two are same, and a related meaning, that's called polysemy. And in that case also, the AI understands, it differentiates the coordinates. So basically, I wanted to give a quick overview of like how AI remembers these words, and then using those memories, it starts transforming. So when you give a word to AI, for example, here the way it's given a sentence, that AI starts transforming it one by one. First, it starts to understand what are the verbs. Once it records what are the verbs, then it starts understanding what are the nouns, for example. Then it starts recording which noun and which pronoun is connected. Then it starts understanding the context, because say cash is there, it probably means the bank, which is closer to the financial bank rather than the river wala bank, right? Things like that. So it starts slowly building a coherent structure or model inside its brain, the so-called brain, and then understands it. So that's a quick overview of the gen AI mechanism. And now a few terms that might be of relevance and use for you when you are getting into governance of AI. So first is the one that is going to be used predominantly by companies. That's called as RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which in Gen AI means nothing but using the internal data along with the external memory of AI to answer a question. So, whenever a question is asked, whenever a user asks a query, the AI tries to understand, is it a general query? Say, for example, what is the height of Mount Everest? Or is it a specific query? Say, for example, what are my revenues of last quarter of my company? If it's a specific query, it tries to go to reference documents internally and then answers it. So that's called as RAG. It is going to generate new jobs for sure, because connecting AI with the internal memory will have its own challenges in terms of efficiency, in terms of security, information safeguard, etc. So all that plays a role over here. Let's go next. Hallucination. So this is the term that would be of real importance for you if you are preparing for government exams, etc., to understand what does this mean. So basically, AI sometimes very confidently provides a made-up answer, the way kids do. A 4-year-old kid, if you tell him a story of a king who was there 1,000 years ago and all, and then 2 days later you say how you the king used to go from one city to another, he may say by flight, by plane, something like that. They confidently say something very very odd, which AI also does. In fact, there have been multiple instances where companies have faced got embarrassed by in multiple situations. For example, they filed a lawsuit and it had made up fake title and authors in it. Right. So things like that keep happening, and it is very important for understanding hallucination. Why does AI does that, and to cross verify that. So this would be the new set of jobs again that might get created by proliferation of AI. Third term that's being used in this space is vibe coding. Basically, the practice of coding using Gen AI. So the way Gen AI you might have understood or used Gen AI in the sense that you might have used it to generate images, etc. You can generate codes as well using it. So that is called as vibe coding. Tokens. This is again a term that is used. A small unit of text that an AI processes. So that text might be even something as small as say comma, right? So for example, this one, stop, don't let go, for example, right? Or not let go, for example, right? If someone says that, stop, not let go, that probably means ki don't let them go. And if I say stop, not let go, it means probably don't stop, let them go. So with a single change of comma, the sentence meaning changes. So even the comma is used as a token by AI to understand the context, etc. So tokens is nothing but a smallest unit of text. It might be a small word, it might be a piece of word sometimes, it might be a punctuation mark. Bias is one yet again a big challenge that we are experiencing in AI. So, for example, what does doctor minus man plus a woman gives? It probably gives nurse. That's what is happening in with AI because the data that it has, AI is kind of carrying the bias that we have been carrying among us unconsciously or subconsciously. So, many a times it is said when you give a prompt to AI asking it to give image of a left-handed person writing on the piece of paper, it might give an image. It still has a right-handed person writing. So, because most of the data that it has absorbed, it has a right-handed people writing. So that is the bias that kind of creeps in, and this might impact, say, credit scoring, loan disbursement, etc. when AI is being used for such tasks. So it is yet again important ethical issue which has to be tackled and handled when AI becomes more and more in use. One more term that is used in AI might not be of a lot of relevance for you, but this is going to create a lot of jobs. So AI has started interacting with other softwares, with other web and products, say SAP, etc. So, and it has got its own memory in the form of a database with which it's interacting. And all these tasks, a single AI like say ChatGPT won't be able to perform. It probably would need a lot of other elements to it, and that's what is called as agentic AI. Yet again, one more thing is like ability of AI, like say LLMs, ChatGPT, Grok, how's that used? How's that tested? So you need not remember all these benchmarks, but at least take a cognizance of the fact that you have to test AI, understand its capability in terms of language understanding, in terms of deduction, in terms of the ability to perform math and logical questions, in terms of knowledge recall, say Mount Everest height, when was French Revolution done, so on and so forth. Then say code generation abilities and general purpose abilities in terms of speed, etc. So these are the categories at which AI's performance is tested and said, okay, ChatGPT 5 is better than ChatGPT 3, or say Grok is better than say Gemini, etc., etc. And yet again, one more question that's usually asked: what are some of the generally commercially available LLMs? So, GPT, like the one that we hear most, Chat GPT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's as of now 4. That's the most available in the market. That has been created by an organization named as OpenAI. Google has two. One is Gemini. Second is Lambda. Gemini is being used a lot. XAI by Elon Musk is created a LLM, that is large language model, named as Grok. Meta AI, that is the company that owns Facebook, it has got Llama. And DeepSeek is yet again one more LLM that created a lot of news because its ability to perform tasks with much less computing power. Microsoft, no, there is no LLM as of now. People say, say Copilot, but Copilot is actually just a product or a tool that leverages one of these languages. So it's not like it has not created any large language model as of now. So Copilot is not an LLM. Then let us discuss about governance and ethics around AI. So if you see, there are these questions about bias, which I pointed out some time back as well. Based on the data, AI might behave in a way that is impacting, for example, the credit score of individuals, or like loan approval, and all this. So this thing, it has to be eliminated. The bias, whenever AI is being leveraged for performing these kind of tasks. So this becomes a very important ethical challenge. Second is protection of personally identifiable information. Personally identifiable information is nothing but, say, name, date of birth, your Aadhaar number, your PAN number, etc., etc. And how would AI behave when this data comes in contact with AI, or when more and more people are using, say, their Aadhaar card images to, say, create some video, etc. So all that safeguards have to be understood, brought in place, and regulated, so to protect people from information theft. Similarly, impact on jobs. So this the efficiencies unlocked by AI may create job issues in terms of lesser people being used for performing more tasks, and similarly some new jobs would be created. So say as future IS officers, etc., you would be required to understand all this, and economic impact of AI and how it's going to be. Copyrights, plagiarism, content getting generated is at times being considered to be infringing copyright of original creators. And who would be responsible if AI creates something that is deemed infringing copyright? So all these questions would be there. Regulators would be required to tackle these challenges and understand and respond to these. Similarly, child safety will become a major issue for AI because now AI is being used by many people in day-to-day activities, right? And thus, when younger people are using it, the tool should have right safeguards to protect people from any unwanted material, cyberbullying or information theft, etc. So this is, these 4 or 5 important points are there that are supposed to be focused on in terms of governance ethics whenever AI comes into play. Yeah, these were the topics that I wanted to discuss about. Thanks a lot, and looking forward to your comments, messages, in terms of feedback, and would like to hear what you would like to listen to more. And if you have any query about new batches, drop a message. Yeah, thank you.